Hi, welcome to Gaze Planet, the podcast where two boyfriends kiki about all things K-pop, and this episode is a little different. We're breaking from our typical monthly format. We wanted to actually talk about the first 3 episodes of Island. So this show, for the uninitiated, this is Island 2. It is a Korean survival show where they're making a girl group under the Black label, which is kind of a breakaway label from YG. At this point, they bought a new building, and YG no longer owns a majority share in the Black label, so they're, like, breaking away. And this is going to be their first girl group. Oh, and for people, like, I guess maybe new to this podcast, we spent our first 10 episodes of this podcast recapping Boys Planet. That's why this podcast is called Gaze Planet. We've watched a bunch of other survival shows. We did not watch Island. We are fresh with Island too. But I think what interested us about this one is that there's only 24 girls.
So we thought we could learn who they are, but we were wrong.
But we thought wrong. Yeah, because they all have the same hair, guys.
They put them in uniforms on these shows, so then you're just seeing girls with long black hair all wearing like lavender jumpsuits.
They do not make it easy. Honestly, because I can kindergarten level read the Korean alphabet is the only thing that's like helping us survive on the show, is like constantly reading their names whenever they want to give them to us. So yeah, the format of the show is just ground versus island. That's the unique thing the show has. The girls are in 2 different groups, and I like that point of view of the show of like, you can be with the losers, you can be with the winners, and we're constantly throwing girls from one to the other.
Yeah, I think a trope of these shows is like, if you do bad on your first like entrance test, you have a really long way to come back.
It's like compounded.
And on this show, they just are fully like explicitly saying like, oh, you're in ground, you have to wear gray, and you go to this sad gym. If you're one of the good girls, you get to like have luxury products and luxury breakfast and like skincare and
no windows.
Yeah, no one has windows. They don't need those. What's also different about this is that we haven't seen any fan interaction yet or fan voting or anything, so everything has just been 4 judges and producers we don't see slotting the girls into island or ground.
It's very, like, clinical, the show. Like, everything is delivered to them by a robot voice, and then the judges are never in the same room as the girls.
The MC has never been on the same room. It's all pre-recorded.
Yeah. It feels like a COVID show, but it's not COVID. But it feels like that, how hermetically sealed this show is. Which I don't mind. It's just kind of like, it's odd. I don't mind that it's like this. It just puts more focus on the girls, I guess. But
I feel like it detracts from their
experience.
Their experience, yeah. Also, I think this is unique in that anytime that the girls have to kind of cull their own ranks, they vote on who they would like to work with again. So it's kind of like a positive vote, and the girls that have the lowest number of votes get kicked out, which I think is a lot better than saying like, who do you think was the worst? They're just saying like, oh, I want to work with Mai again. I want to work with Mai again. Mai had a great attitude, and then she ends up getting like 12 votes.
Because it's beneficial to the girls, because they want to stay with the best of the best. Like, that's what's going to keep... Well, that's what they think until episode 3 is going to keep them in Island. Yeah, so that's kind of like the format. I mean, it's cool. It's different. It's surgical. So yeah, I mean, at this point, we've seen 3 episodes. We went back and we watched the entrance test today. What did you think was the best entrance test?
The best entrance test was drama.
Yeah.
4 girls, so you could really focus on them.
Jimin, Mai, Jiyoon, and Jungin.
It had people who are the main characters of the show now. It had the best singer.
Jungin.
The song gives parts to people that aren't that good at singing, like Mai was able to shine even though she can't sing very well.
Well, she can just go, drama.
Ticky, ticky, ticky.
Oh, yeah, ooh, I forgot about her weird rap.
But it just gives parts for people that are really good singers and people that are bad singers and lets them both shine.
K-pop is honestly nice because they're like, if you can't sing, but you also can't rap, we will give you nonsense words just to, like, yell.
Yeah.
And look pretty.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Hey. Shout out to Bahie. We love you.
So yeah, I would say that, and then I would think the worst one was After Light. Because you're taking a song that already has easy choreography, and you're not executing it very well, while also sounding like you're out of breath at all moments. Like, Cake was objectively worse, but they're doing hard choreography, and a third of the time, they sound like Itzy.
Yeah, Cake had a little bit more, like...
Cake had more, like,
fun?
verve to it.
Verve, yeah.
Whereas After Like, they just looked terrified, and I felt terrified while watching it. Cake, they were like, guys, we are doing the best we can, and we're happy with that. And After Like was just like, this is a bloodbath, and we're wearing white. But great furry boots.
I don't know. The furry boots, like, really, like, Beauty. These outfits were so confusing. I was like, okay, they're, like, rich women going out in the snow, but, like, showing their legs so they can get a man. Like, it was just...
There were snow bunnies.
Yeah.
And then the Cake girls, they just said, bring something from home. They were just wearing, like, bad school uniforms.
Yeah.
Which, that can end at any time.
Okay, well, I mean, Drama I think is the best. My other one I liked was Unforgiven. They had the coolest outfits. Sadang looked great.
I think that's a good song to do because there's like chanting, there's just engagement.
It's like all attitude.
Yeah. But then if you
nice.
have a weak link in that song, that it really sticks out because they can't carry the attitude.
But they kind of didn't, because I'm looking at them like, oh, they had Minsol, who can give attitude. They had Jiyoon, who's the great dancer that threw the whistle and whistle. And then they had Ji-won, who's cute, but slayed bad boy.
Yeah.
Like, you could just debut that girl group. I know
Your
I say that
favorite-
a lot on this podcast, but I'm debuting them now. Oh, and my episode 1 question before we kind of move on is, because the girls, like we said, they over-indexed. The judges sent 16 girls to Island, but you can only have 12. 4 girls had to get pushed out of Island and go to ground. Do you think it's better, like, mentally, or if you were in this situation, would you rather go straight to ground, or would you rather know that you got into Island and then get pushed to ground? Like, what's more devastating?
I think you just want to go to Island because you get more screen time as you're being voted.
Yeah, you
to
really,
ground.
that's a good point.
And then you have an arc.
They get filmed more in Island, for sure. Ground will film like 2 people at a time. And her name is Yuju, and her other name is Fuko.
Yeah, you just have to be leader of your group in ground, and then you get filmed. Would you ever want to be leader?
Ugh, no. Every time I watch a show, I'm like, hell no. Leader, you have to be super skilled because you have to know how to choreograph, or at least check choreography. Like, you have to know how to teach choreography to be the leader, because these shows, you don't have a dance teacher, they just learn on an iPad. And then these, like, little girls have to come to you crying and, like, unconfident, and you have to tell a story about how you used to be unconfident, but then you had your period or something, and it's like, it seems like so much extra work. I'd rather just be like, I will be part 10, and I will burst out of the pack, spin around, say, let the curtain fall, and then go back.
So you're going home on episode 4.
Yeah.
Oh, and we forgot about the subplot of the show of just pulling your hair straight up.
Yeah.
Which happens 3 times in their theme song.
I love it. I mean, the first time I ever saw a K-pop group pull their own hair was Dreamcatcher's debut, and I was like, oh my god, did they just pull their own hair? So I love that this show is like, we'll put in everything.
Everything. Every step of the way. Oh, and tying shoelaces is also a large part of the show.
Okay, so episode 2, that brings us into episode 2. That is the best part of episode 2, is can these girls, in the choreography to Final Love Song, which is just...
Final Countdown.
Final Countdown by Europe from the 80s. At the beginning of the song, the main girl has to tie her shoe, and there's all this stress about can you tie your you have to tie your shoe in enough time before the next beat of the music kicks in so you can kick your foot out. You only have so much time to get the shoelace right, and they all get it wrong. And then it becomes this big thing about oh no, I tied my shoelace wrong, am I going to ground? Yeah, the second episode, the Signal Song, it's really just about 3 characters. The episode is really just Junggeun is being stressed because she has to cast it, Yuju leading the ground, and then the fall of Jiyoon.
The fall.
Which we're having trouble with all of their J names, but I'm just calling Jiyoon Jidoomed because it's helping me remember her name versus Ji-won and Ju-won.
She's having a mental breakdown.
And there's no therapist on set for her. They want it to happen.
She's just leaning against walls with curtains of hair.
So this is a girl that she is supposed to be one of the main singers of the show. She initially...
One of the aforementioned 2 singers on the show.
She initially is...
She's main vocal. She sounds like Rosé.
But then when they have to reshuffle this group, she gets pushed to part 11 out of 12, which usually those last parts, like, they have very little screen time or very little time on the mic. So she gets pushed to one of the worst parts, and then by the end of the episode, gets pushed to ground. 3 girls have to go to ground. All the girls are like hugging and crying, but no one is hugging Jiyoon. Probably because she was like, don't touch me, and they didn't film that. I'm sure she was like, I needed a minute. But like, everyone's crying, no one's touching her, and then she just walks past all the girls into this part of the set that's like a pearl or like a stone that it's not an elevator, it's just like a thing you walk into and it spins around, you come out the other side and you go to ground. But she just walks silently into that. It's very Dahlia Sin on RuPaul's Drag Race season 12 when she walks off after being eliminated and doesn't say an exit line and just walks straight down the stairs.
We love you, Dahlia.
She's just over it.
But it's great TV. Like, it's great. This is great TV that she's being. I mean, she could have a cool arc where she comes back up. I'm not seeing it.
I don't think it'll happen.
Seeing it.
I think she's tanking any chance.
Well, and what we've talked about this while watching it, but what these girls always forget on these shows is like, they think that they just have to do the best in each performance, but what you really have to do is perform for the camera. Like, viewers
need to fall in love with you.
You're on camera 24/7 on these shows, so you can't sulk against a wall with your hair in front of your face. Like, you just
when
can't.
you're the leader of a group.
Then viewers are going to be like, she's given up on the show. Like, then the votes are not going to come for you. No, yeah, so in episode 3, a moment of insanity, the girls make Jiyoon the leader of their group, even though she's still, like, depressed.com. I think they do that because they're like, she's the best singer on the one of the best singers.
Definitely.
She came from Island. Like, she'll lead us. But then I'm like, girls, you haven't seen what we've seen. And then they just cut to her like slumping in a corner while like other girls are crying because they don't think they can dance. And I'm like, yikes.
Yeah.
So episode 3, I liked episode 3. They introduced this diabolical scheme called the Seesaw Game, where there's 12 girls in Island and they're paired off into like friendship.
This is fabulous TV.
They're paired off and then told immediately that, oh, the girl you paired yourself off with, now she's your rival. You're going to be in 2 groups of 6 and the losing group is going to go to the ground. Then they flash back to that morning when they were initially paired and they have 3 hours of bonding friendship time and then come back to present and the girls are like, fuck, I hate that I picked you because you're my friend.
Yeah. Or they think that they're going to be working together, so they're picking people that are similar to them.
Yeah. But then in those pairs, the robot voice of the show is like, okay, you can do Whistle or you can do Panorama. With your partner, pick which one you each want. So it becomes your rival instantly, because what if you both want the same song and you should both want Whistle? Are you kidding me?
They have to agree on which person gets which part, which I thought was very cool. And one is an impossible song to sing, and the other is just a swag song.
Yeah, I mean, okay. The 2 songs that they can do in Island, Whistle by Blackpink, which is one of my top 3 Blackpink songs.
Make 'em whistle like a missile, bomb, bomb. Every time I show up, blow up, Make 'em whistle like a missile, bomb, bomb.
And then Panorama by Eyes One.
You have to drink in plastic cups when that song is playing, otherwise it will shatter the glass.
Yeah. Eyes One as a group, they were made on Produce 48. Their songs are all pitched extremely high. You have to have extremely high range to sing those songs, and Eyes One fans can come for me, I don't care. I don't think that group ever sung live. Or if they did, it wasn't televised. It's a song that's basically only ever lip-synced, so these girls on the show cannot hit the notes, plus dance at the same time, and ultimately the song has to be lowered a half step for them. I think they could have lowered it a whole step.
2 to 3 steps.
2 to 3 steps. Like,
the best singer on the show can't sing the song. No one in the group can hit the notes.
And they're trying. Like, those girls are fucking cracking. Like, they're really burning out their throats trying, which I'm, like, worried about their vocal cords. But you have the choice between Panorama, which, like, if you get it right, I think could have much more impact than Whistle, which is, like, a cool Blackpink song. There's rapping. It's, like, swaggy. There's that little country part. So it's like, do you go to the one that you know you can pull off, which is Whistle, or do you go to the one that if you pull it off will probably win, Pan America? But then for the grounders, I think you should only choose like Ooh Ah by Twice because that one will automatically win. And
Why is this your theory?
because Bad Boy, okay, so the Grounders do Bad Boy. We see this on the episode, and we haven't seen
Sing us a little part.
She can put the bad boy down.
It's just a little sleepy.
Bad Boy is like a really like cool, sexy hip hop, chill. I'm a bad bitch, but like it's very chill. It's very like laid back. So I'm like, a laid back song to me, unless you do it perfectly, is not going to be like a super cute, hyper Twice song. It's not going to have the impact.
You just hope the other team falls apart.
Because the Twice song, like, is probably not that hard to pull off. Twice's choreography was quite easy in the beginning of their career. It's just about personality, and there's plenty of girls that only have personality and don't have any other talent, so... Bad Boy, when Ground does it, I think is bad. I mean, it's unfair to these girls. They only have like a week to learn it, because immediately after we watched Red Velvet do it, and it's like a completely different song, like...
And that's a song where you have to be totally comfortable with the dance and your singing so that you have the confidence to just look laid back, and they don't. They look like they're counting in their heads.
Yeah, I just think that's a song that's really hard to get right, and you probably need more than a few days to get it right, so you should just go to Twice. But, okay, so who stood out to you in these 3 out of 4 performances that we got to see? So who stood out to you in Whistle? This was Jimin, Hey Boy, Sarang, Sujung, who was the dancer and leader in the short one that we love, Yui, and then Minsul and Yuju.
I thought Whistle was, like, very even.
I mean, Sujung's great. We love Sujung. She can sing well, and she's a fantastic dancer, and she's super relaxed on stage, because a lot of these girls are not relaxed.
No, not at all. Their shoulders are, like, at their ears.
Yeah.
And this is the little one?
Yeah, Sujung's the little one. And she was a great leader, too. She was super cut in. She was super clear, which I think is honestly good, where she's like, no, that's wrong, let's do it again. Or like, I know you want this part, but you're not going to get that part because blah. Like, she knows exactly what the picture of the song should be.
The show seems to love her, I wonder.
I know, I'm worried about her because I'm like, I hope Korea... I don't know how the votes are going for the show, but I hope like she gets enough Korean support, because she is super short. I don't think she has the visuals Korea likes, but we think she looks like fucking cool. Yeah, she's like to me like the other star of the show. Panorama.
Sabi was
Slayby.
Slayby.
She destroyed. She was like, I know these people are always obsessed with centers on this show, but she was like, okay, I'm gonna show you what a center like is really supposed to be, and it's supposed to be like extremely charming, flirting with the camera, pretty. She does the thing I like where people smile and then they drop the smile because they're about to go hard. Yeah, Sabi was fantastic. Jiyoon was great. Yeah. Okay, and then Bad Boy?
We liked Jiwon.
Oh, Jiwon. I think she's the best in the thing. Like, she's better than Fuko.
Yeah. Fuko looks great, but it looks like she's delivering a different song. Especially after we watched Red Velvet do it.
Yeah.
And then came back to it, I was like, Fuko looks great, but she looks like she's singing a Kepler song. And
there's no bad bitch energy.
No.
From really any of them.
They did not understand the assignment.
No. But Jiwon, she's like serving face in her own way. She's like cycling through facial expressions, and she's like giving the camera a lot, and she's clearly like having fun. And I'm like, that's not what Bad Boy is, but it's better than what anyone else is doing.
Yeah, because then they have a Vogue dance break where they're cycling between I'm a bad bitch, but also smiling at the camera, and then back to bad bitch, and it's like, the message is getting lost.
And then the third episode ends on a cliffhanger of, do they hate Jiyoon or not? They're now ending every episode with Jiyoon.
Oh, yeah. So what has your highlight of the show been?
Besides tying the shoes, because that's amazing. Honestly, I think, like, Sabi in Panorama. I had my eye on her a little bit, and she's already been called Giant to Baby. She just really, like, blew it out of the water, like, did exactly what she had to do, and leveled up her vocals slightly. So, like, I like growth.
Yeah, she has the most organic growth on the show.
Yeah. She wasn't in my, like, top picks of, like, I was like, oh, she's cool, and now I'm like, she'll probably get in the group, and I would be happy. So.
I don't know, probably Sarang and Unforgiven.
Wow, still.
I thought it was, like, the most convincing. It was the most, like, idol.
Yeah, well, you were saying that you think Sarang could just be in Le Seraphim, like, she would
just be the sixth member.
She would just make sense in that lineup.
Yeah. So I think that was, like, one of the first times on the show where I was like, oh, she's giving me idol. which the internet thinks that Jimin is giving idol, and I'm not getting that.
Yeah, that's one of the people that's being like forced on us by the editing, I think. Like,
And the internet.
But I don't.
I don't see it, and her haircut is terrible. But there's so many people that fill the same spot as her. Of, like, tall, pretty.
Well, I know. That's why
center.
I'm like, now that we have Sabi, like, I don't need Jimin. Like, we found the center girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was our gay watch of the first 3 episodes of Island. We're going to keep recapping it. Either it's going to be every episode or it's going to be every other. We haven't decided. If you're new, hopefully we get some new people from, like, the Island 2 Reddit. You could listen to our back catalog, and we, like I said, we do these, like, a kind of a monthly look at K-pop every 30-ish days.
A K-zine.
But otherwise, you can follow us on Instagram at Gays Planet Pod. I'm Miles. That was Andy.
Bye, bar.
Bye, boy.
That one's better.
Make 'em whistle like a missile. Bomb, bomb. Every time I show up, blow up. Make 'em whistle like a missile. Bomb, bomb. Every time I show up.